Hello everyone. Today we'll be talking about data fetching. So does anyone know what data fetching is? Yeah, getting data from where?
Server.
From server? What do you mean by server?
Sorry?
Getting data from server.
Yeah.
From which? From who?
From the backend server.
Yeah, backend server. So it can be from your application or can be from a third party application. So do you remember last time we created our own server? So let me create a file called app.js. Does anyone remember how we did it? Yeah, in Node daemon. Now NodeMon is basically it will restart your server every time whenever you make a change. So that's just a dependency. However, to create a server using the using the dependency Express, do you remember anyone? Express. So how do I do that? Do you remember? Florian, do you remember? So I declare a variable called, I don't know, express equals, so let me just import it for you. Oops, not express. Yep, so here I imported it. So how do I start an application? How do I start creating an application? Do you remember? Yeah, so I declare another variable called app, and to use express I do this. Yeah, and this is where you can start creating an application using Express. So do you guys know what Express is? It's like I said last time, it's a web application. So instead of coding so obviously it's all based in Node.js, yeah. So but rather than coding like I don't know hundreds of lines using Node.js, why not use a web application framework where you can just do 2 or 3 lines and done. Here's your web application. Obviously not as simple as that, but you get the gist. Now, do you guys remember what HTTP is? So requesting and responsing, requesting and response.
Yeah, get and post.
Exactly. Yeah. So getting information from the server. Yeah. So let's say app.get, and I have to create a URL. So for example, let's say hello. And then a callback function. So the callback function will be request and response. Well done to me. And then I will ask. So basically, from the browser, the client, I'm requesting information from the server. So what I need to do is I need to ask the server to respond me with something. So response.send, I don't know, and then I ask the server to reply me hello. That kind of thing. Yeah? You get the gist, guys? And obviously I need to do this as well, just to let us know that it's connected. The app is actually working. So for example, console.log app is listening on port 3000, blah blah blah, doesn't matter. Yeah? Now, some of you guys in CodeFlix must have started doing the backend. Yeah? Paula, have you started in backend? So at some point, you must have created your database from the backend, right?
No, I haven't touched it.
Right, okay. So far, I'm sure you guys must have created your database from the front end. But from task 20, you need to create your database from the backend. So you can't simply use React to grab data from the backend because you have to use Node.js. So say for example, so this is just a sample. This is from my project anyway. It doesn't matter. So this is a database from the backend. So it's very similar to what you've been doing with the front end. It's just that just some little variation, little difference. Say for example, I want to request from the server to return that database that I just showed you. So for example, I would declare a variable called database, and I will just say, I don't know, it doesn't matter. So I show the URL database, and also so API, for example, and I will request this link to the database, and I ask the server to return me back the database, like from this, for example. Yeah. So this is what this workshop is about. Is basically requesting from the browser and requesting from the database from the server, basically. However, even though we've done this, what will happen? So I'm asking the server, hey, can you return me the database? The whole thing, like for example, this. What will happen? It will return me the entire database, right? But that's not what you want really, right? Maybe you just want the first object rather than the entire array. So this is where Fetch API comes in. So I only want small chunks of information. So like I said, I just want the first object. And if you don't use Fetch API, it will return the whole thing. And this will basically give you poor performance. And it's very slow. Whereas why can't I just use Fetch API and just fetch a small chunk of data? Yeah?
I have a curiosity.
Yeah, go on.
If we wanted to just see the small database we have, how do you see that? Do you see that in the console? Do you see it on a page? How do you see
Yeah, I will show you that.
visualize the
Yeah, I will show you that later, yeah. Always ahead of me. Always ahead of me, Sumi. Yeah? So this is basically the gist of it. Now, rather than fetching from, so I will show that to you later, Sumi, but rather than fetching from that, for now, I want to fetch it from another application. So I want to show you this application called Random User Generator. So basically what this application does, whenever you refresh, it'll give you a random person's profile. So it can be email, name, birth, blah, blah, blah. Now, so here it says how to use. I want to copy this URL and paste it here. Now, what's this, Sumi?
That's the database.
Next one. Not database.
JSON.
Yeah, it's a JSON, exactly. Yeah, it's a JSON. It's a JSON. Yeah, it's a JSON file. So obviously, I used a special special application to make it easier to read. But originally, it should be like this kind of format. Yeah. Now, the point of this exercise is that I want to fetch only certain properties. I don't want all of it, but I want certain properties. Now, does anyone know how I can do that? What?
Filter?
Not filter, no.
Just like access tracing.
Pardon?
Just access those property like you access tracing.
But how do I fetch this JSON thing? What's the method called?
JSON string define.
Fetch.
Before? Oh, yes, fetch. That's it. Well done, Z. Fetch. But again,
Can I ask a quick question?
yeah, go for it.
Is it fetch anyway similar to Axios?
Different syntax, different library. Axio, I heard of. You did mention Axio, didn't you, Sumi? Yeah. Okay. But yeah, okay. But yeah, it's another library. But today we'll be focused on fetch. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Now, so how do we implement fetch into React? Anyone?
So fetch from the library first?
No, it's not. It's not. It's a method. It's not a library. Yeah. Yeah. Fetch is part of the.
React.
It's part of yes, React. You can say that. Yeah. But it is JavaScript. It's a JavaScript method. So it's already been implemented. So in order to use fetch, actually, you know what? Let's try this. Let me show you how it works. Fetch in the browser console. Let me show you. Actually, making it more interesting. Right. So if I go to console and I use the method fetch. So when you paste the URL, you have to surround it with speech in strings basically. And let me press enter. Now what does this mean? So fetch is basically promise based. So promise is how they handle results from the server. So it's like a resolve reject basis kind of thing. So here it says resolved, meaning that they fetched this. So it's successful. It works. So here it says resolved. Here it says okay. Status 200. What does that mean? 200.
It's a good fetch.
Good fetch. Yeah. Good thing. It's a good message. Obviously, this is not what we want, but at least we know that it works. Yeah. But we're mostly more interested in the body property, meaning we want some of these properties to be rendered to the DOM, to the browser, yeah? So that's cool. Now, in order to implement it to React, we need to use a method called component did mount. Does anyone know what this is?
Tells you when the component is rendered.
Yeah.
Seconds.
Yeah, you're close, you're very close. So basically, after all of the elements been rendered to the browser, and the component is requesting for certain information from this JSON file, we need to use component mount to request data from the API. Are you with me, Paula? Okay, yeah, okay. So, like I said, once all of the elements been rendered, and maybe the component is actually requesting data from the API, I need to use component did mount in order to request data. So here's the method, component did mount, and I need to use that method I used earlier. So fetch and URL. And now let me check. And also, in order to check if it's working, I can use this method called then method, response, and then console.log response. Oh, right. So let's see if it works. Right, have I not? So then response console.log. Refresh it. There we go. So here we are. So same message as from before. It's basically saying, oh, it's been requested and I got a response from the API. So are we? Yeah, makes sense, guys. Yeah. So it's just basically giving me a message, but doesn't matter. Now, I don't want this anymore. So although this is in JSON format, I still need to convert it to JSON myself. Yeah, I need to convert it to JSON myself. So how do I do that, guys? So this is the then method, which is promise based. Pardon? But I want to convert it to JSON though. I don't want to convert it to the object. I want it in JSON.
Strings.
Pardon?
Strings.
So it's a method called, so response, this is the argument, what object, dot JSON. Yeah, that's how you convert it to JSON format, yeah? Now let's check it out what we get in return. Let's have a look. So let's just say, actually no, let's call it data. So it's because it's been converted to JSON data. And then do console.log. So let's see what we get in return. So let me refresh. Yeah, it takes a while sometimes. Ah, there we go, got it. And here we are. We have an object. Well, yeah, an array of one object, giving me the phone number, date of birth, email, blah blah blah. So that means it's successful. We actually fetched it from the API. Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, how do we how do I render everything, all the data, and put it into my browser? So do you remember that state? Yeah? Do you remember state? So I create a constructor. So basically, I want all of the user information and put it into state, the data, yeah? So to do that, I need to create a constructor. Super, yep. And then what? Exactly, well done, Julia. Now, I created this.state, and I want to initialize a property and a value. So, like I said, I want all of the users. I want it, one user or more, one or more users, and put it into my state. So, to initialize the value, I need to call it, I don't know, users dot colon array, because I want all. So, like I said, I want all the users. I want to put everything into users here, into this array. Yeah?
So you can name them whatever you want.
Exactly. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Now, how do I put everything into users? Exactly, but where? Yes. Oh, you're so good, Sumi. You're so good. Now, how do I do that? Yeah. So do you guys understand this set state? So in order to change this state, I need to use this set state, this method, yeah, built-in React method. So this set state users, and then what? Data, yeah, data. That's it, data. Well done, Z. So I've got everything here. So now let's check it out. Let's see what we get in return. So how do I check the value for users here? This dot state then what? Yeah. Well done, Z and Julia. So let's check it out. Oh, we got it. See? We got results. Right, I've got one problem here. So you see, right, if I go to the very root of this object, I have two main objects here. The first was in an array, but within this object, well, Json file, we have. Let me make it easier for you guys to read. Can you guys see, by the way? You should have told me. Sorry, guys. Oh, you should have said something. Right, can you see now? Cool. Now let me make it easy for you guys just to read. Now, so within results, we have an array of different objects, or one object, just one object, with multiple properties. So gender, name, location, blah, 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 and all that. And we have info, which we are not really that interested. It's just rubbish information, which we don't need. So, since we're only interested in results, how do I make this shorter? Yeah, nice one, Z. Data.results. So what will happen? You will only show me the results.
Yeah. So basically just how you access results.
Exactly, how we access the
JSON.
Basically, yeah, JSON, yeah.
After all this.
Square brackets and zero because it's an array?
No, don't do that. No. we do data.results. Since we're only interested in results, we type in data, which represents the JSON file, and then results, which is the next, which is the two objects that represents the JSON file, well, the array and object that represents the JSON file. Yeah. So therefore, we want to data.results.
Is data a keyword, and the system knows it represents?
It's just an
JSON?
argument name. It's just an argument name.
But did we define it as representing the JSON file, or
We just defined that.
Yeah, we just defined there. Yeah. Can you see? We just defined it here. Data.
Oh, is that defining?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Just how you do normal JavaScript functions. Do you remember the callback functions? Where you just type in anything that represents this item. Yeah, within the array, object, whatever.
Yeah, because it's reference based, not value based.
Exactly, Prawn. Exactly. Well done. Yeah. Right. So are we all clear on that bit? Yeah. Go on. Tell me. Which we don't understand. So we initialize the key value, which is users, and the empty array, and we basically want to update update this value using this .setState. We want to fetch the data and put everything into this empty array. So that's the main point of this exercise.
Yeah.
And then we want to basically use JSX to present certain properties, such as, oh, I want to show the name, date of birth. I want to render it into the DOM, into this browser.
It makes sense.
Yeah?
It makes sense. Just like when I look at it, it makes sense. But if you ask me to write it from scratch, I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, it's fine. No worries.
How configurable is it?
Pardon?
How configurable is it? Because you just got a JSON there. What else can you open it up to compare it to like?
What type of file can you
Yeah,
parse
exactly.
instead of JSON? You mean?
XML, but mainly JSON really.
It's just JSON.
Just JSON, yeah.
And then you've got a database which you can query on basically.
Oh,
Can you parse it in XML?
yeah, we can, yeah.
That's
But
pretty much the only two options, I guess.
I can only think of XML and JSON so far. But yeah, but let's just focus on JSON for now. Okay.
Sorry to ask the same question again, but I don't really understand. Users is an empty array.
Mm-hmm.
Can we not therefore use the array methods to access data and results and do 0 and 0? It's a kind of nested array, or?
I don't think that will work. Let me. Okay. But what if I want? No, see, undefined. It won't work. No.
That's not called zero. That's called result.
Mm-hmm. Well, but
Using
she's
zero
talking about index notation.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if it's on the 0 position.
Yeah, it won't work. No, it will. If you just need to name it results. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Because it's an object.
Yeah, go on, Paolo. Go on, Paolo.
So you said that data stands for the JSON file. What does response represent?
Data represents the JSON
File.
here, which one, it represents this JSON file, which is well, the JSON JavaScript object notation, basically. Yeah, it
And
represents. Pardon?
Response, which is just above it, the other. Then
So we basically requesting a response from this application server, and I want it to be in JSON file. Well, so response, yeah. So basically, I'm requesting, and I expect a response to be in JSON file from the server. So once that's done, which is promise based, once it's done, once it's executed, it will move on to the next method then. And I basically want all of that. I want the JSON file to be inside this user's array. But in order to change the state, I need to use the React special method called this.setState in order to do that, yeah? And also, I'm only interested in results, not info. So in order to make it easy for me, for us anyway, I need to add results here, dot results. Make sense, guys?
I was just asking whether data and response do not have the same thing.
Which bit?
In the two dot then, so the dot then response that line 14
Mm-hmm.
and line 15.
So like I said, I basically asked the server to respond me a JSON file. Once that's done, I want to basically update the state data users, and I want all of that, all of the data, well, I want everything, all the properties to be inside this array.
Yeah.
Okay?
So when you use XML, you have to set more states.
Response
Yeah.
based
Yeah.
on that.
Basically, yeah.
You've got to give more.
Exactly, yeah. Okay? Now, let's move on. Now, once that's done, I want to basically say, I want the first name to be here, and I want, the last name to be here. I want everything to be, not everything, but some of the properties to be rendered to the browser, yeah? So, if I can create another component, so let's just say, let's call it user. Now, I basically want to create a component, and I want to render all of the properties. So let me import React first, because I'm using React. And then I'll create a function called user, return, and then surround it with div. Now, let me render the component user, just to let you guys see. So let me import it from here. User from user. And let me render it. So user. See what we get. Oh, I didn't export it, that's why. So export default user. Yep, it works. Now, like I said, I basically want to use this. I basically want to use this component to decorate the I don't know, the properties, such as first name. I want it to be here, so I'm using the markup here, and I also want last name. All right, what else do you guys want? Paulina, choose a property for me. Location, let's have a look. All right, what do you want? Which location, what part of location you want? City? Z, what else? Date of birth, yep. Paula? What else do you want? Huh? I can't hear you, sorry. Picture, yep. Picture, in that case, let's put it at the top. Right, how do I render picture?
IMG.
Yeah, IMG, yep. And then what? Oh,
Source.
yeah, source, right. Actually, you know what, let's do that later. Right, guys, next one. Any more?
Phone number.
Phone number? Julia?
Gender.
Gender, yep. That's it. And let's also do nationality as well. Let's call it country. So we have a list of properties here, and I want to fetch the data and render it next to these properties, yeah? As values, well, maybe, yeah. Okay? Now, I don't just want one user, I want maybe 10 of them. I can do a thing called URL parameters, yeah? So I can, a URL query parameters. So I can play around with this URL and do a query. Does anyone know how I can do that?
List of match params.
Pardon?
List of
No,
match
that's React. Yeah. But we're focusing on the fetch method. Yeah, question mark. That's it. Question mark. Exactly. No, not yet. So in order to start a query, in order to let's say filter the JSON, the data, you use question mark. Yeah. Now I want more than one user, meaning maybe like I want 10 users. So because this is called results, I can do something like results equals 10. Obviously it won't work yet, not yet. But if I check the console, I get 10 different users. Yeah? And if I'm also only interested, maybe the country, like I'm only interested in people from UK, I can do another query. How do I do that? If there's more than one query?
Question mark again.
Nope. Julia, give it a guess.
Semicolons.
Ooh, nope. Yeah, semi, and that's it.
Oh,
And what's the property called? Let's have a look. I think it's called nat. So and nat equals GB for this example, yeah. So I'm only interested in people from Great Britain, and I want more than one user, meaning results equals 10 and nat equals GB. So that's what's known as the query, the URL query parameters. So you can play around with the URL like this. I'm sure maybe like so for some website you might see the address bar like this, right?
Yeah,
You see that a lot, yeah. For Amazon as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how you do your query. Well, when you do the application, yeah. Okay. And I get the following results here. Is it from? Let me refresh. Yep, Great Britain. Yeah. Cool.
Vince,
Yeah, go on.
one question. At the end, you put the nat equals GB. Why do you have to specify that part of the query?
Well, because the property is called nat, so therefore I have to follow the rules.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't just call it country because there's no such property called country. I must type in nat. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it won't work. So if I show you, yeah. So yeah, it says ES, so I'm assuming that's Spain. So it's not GB.
What do you put in the console to see it?
Pardon?
If you clean the console, what do you put there?
I can't hear you, Paula.
If you clean the console,
Clean.
yeah.
Clean the console. Yep.
What do you put there to see what we were looking at?
I'll refresh it. So I basically typed in this.state.users. Yeah, console.log. I want to check out what have we fetched from the API. By using that, I can check what's going on. You don't have to. You can even use the React DevTools as well. So I can use the React DevTools, and I can go to state, and I have like 10 objects here. Yeah, and I have the following properties. I do prefer React DevTools, to be honest, but yeah, doesn't matter. You can use either. Right, are you guys with me so far? Yeah.
Well, once again, sorry.
Go on.
Can we go back to the 10 users?
10 users. Yep.
Okay. So to my previous question. So you have.
Yeah. Go on.
Okay, so you why is that? I don't understand. I mean, you call the 10 users.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's have a look. Country, or should be nat. Yep.
Exactly. So you have the 10 users.
Mm-hmm.
Is that nat is an additional component not defined by the.
No. Nat is basically part of. It's what I'm basically fetching from the Json file, from the API.
That's the key from the JSON file.
Yeah. So from this JSON file.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fetching nat, and I want to be. And I did a query saying I'm only interested in GB, Great Britain.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a specification.
Yeah. Of course, exactly. You can do another query if you want, but let's just stick. Maybe I'm interested in female. I know. Gender equals female.
Okay.
Yeah. And it will give me female users. Yeah. Oh, doesn't work. Don't know why. Oh. Don't know. But yeah. But you get my point anyway. Are you guys with me? Yeah, I did spell it right, didn't I? Don't know why. Right, so let's have both male and female. Doesn't matter. Right, so once that's done, I now want to render it. I want to render all the values into here, into these titles. So how do I do that? If there's more than one user, so I want to do 10 users. So obviously I can't just use one component. I need to use 10. So how do I iterate the component? Do you remember, Sumi? The special method, JavaScript method?
Map.
Yeah, map. Now how do I do that? Do you guys remember? I use map. So what is map? Is it JavaScript method? Yep. So so if I want to use JavaScript, what do I need to do? Paula?
JavaScript inside there.
Mm.
Maybe put it in
Curly brackets, yeah. So because map is a JavaScript method, I must surround it with curly brackets. Now, because the data is from state, what do I need to do? How do I iterate the users? This dot state, right? So this dot state dot users and then map. Now, I want to create an argument to represent each item. Ignore the error. I want to create an argument to represent each item in the array. User, exactly. User, and then what? The component, right? So I'm basically creating 10 different user components, and each of the component will contain certain properties such as first name, last name, blah blah blah. So let me create the first one. So first name equals so from here, how do I get a value from this JSON file if I'm using the argument user to represent each item? User.julia? Dot first name. However, first name is from name, exactly. So how do I do that, Julia? So no, from Julia. Name, yep, dot first. Exactly. So you get the gist, right? What about last name, Florian? Right, what's next? I can't remember. City. Who shall ask next? City. User.location.city. Nice one. Right, what's next? DOB. Who shall I pick on? Paulina. DOB. So I'm interested in date of birth, and I want the date, not the age, but the date. So let's create a property called DOB, and user DOB dot, yeah, that's it, dot date. Nice one. What's next? Phone. Matt. Right, let me find phone. There we go. So I want this.
Phone number.
Yeah. Shall we call it phone number, or just call it phone? Doesn't matter.
User dot.
Yeah, that's it. Nice one. But you guys get the gist, right? Yeah. How's it fetched? Yeah. And let's just finish the rest very quickly. So we have gender. User.gender. Is that right? Yeah, that's fine. And lastly, what's the last one? Country. So is it country or something else? Yeah, nice one, Sumi. Yeah, so I created my properties, and I want the values to be exactly from the JSON file. Now, guys, the next step is how do I communicate from the parent component, app, to the child component, user? Do you guys remember? Yeah, props. That's it. Now, if I do console.log props, hopefully I will get something in return. Right, why do I get an error? Give me 1 second. Ooh, what's this? Console. So I will get a bunch of these properties. Yeah. So for each user, I get all of these properties that are specified in app, meaning here. Yeah. Any questions, guys? Does it make sense so far? Cool. Now, in order to use these tags, H1 tags, how do I do that? Sumi. So what do I need to do? Props. Yeah, first name. Yep. What's the next one, Sumi? Yeah, I'm giving you answers. Yeah, props city, yeah. Yeah, you get the gist, guys, right? That's how you communicate, yeah, from the parent component to the child component. What's this? Dot phone. Oh, not phone zone. Props dot gender.
No.
Oh,
Forgot that.
excuse me. I ain't get. Ooh, what happened?
This one's the child, and the other one app is the parent
This
component.
user is the child component, and app is the parent. Yeah. So basically, the app component. So here, it's asking the child component of user, can you pass these following properties? Yeah. So that's fine. However, I still need to link it together. Yeah. So in order to get these properties, in order to get these JSX. So H1. Yeah. Oh, what about image? Let's do this one. You mentioned source, Florin. How do I do it? So let's call it picture. So user, what's it called? Let's have a look. Ignore the error as usual. What's it called, Florin? So picture. Let's do medium. Yeah, you're right. Let's do medium. All right. So it's user.picture.medium. Yeah. And props.picture. So I called it picture. Yeah, for the property. Cool. So let's see if it works. Let's have a look. Oh, we got it. Oh, ignore that. So yeah, there we go. We've got all of the user's information. Right, I want this to be bigger. Let's go for large, shall we? Let's not use medium. Let's use large actually. Make it clear for you guys. Yeah, that's it. That's better. Right, guys. Yeah, on board. Right. So that's fine, but I'm still not happy with this. I want this to be in capital letter. So how do I do that, guys? I can create another function, can't I? Yeah. So let's create another function. Let's call it capitalize. I don't know, first character, whatever. Ooh, what happened here? Ooh, let me get rid of this. Don't know what happened. It's not happy with me. Ooh. What happened there? Oh, there we go. Oh, I think the server is quite slow today. Don't know why. Now, let's go back to this main subject. All right, let's go away. That's it. Yeah, so like I said, I can create another function. Let's just say capitalize first, I don't know, character. And let's give it the argument string. Right. Any ideas? Pardon? Yeah, but I want the first character. So I use this method called char@, 0.2 uppercase, so well done, Sumi. Now, next one. And so that will give me everything in capital letters, or only the first letter. But I also want to introduce another method called Substring. And I want the rest to be in lowercase. So hopefully that works. So let's see. So how do I implement it? Julia, do you know? Yeah? Any idea how I can implement it to first name? After first name here? Here, Paula? So the function is JavaScript. So it has to be within or outside. Within the curly braces, right? So I can put it before props and surround it with parentheses. Yeah? So what do we get? Oh, we got it. Okay, ignore this. Catherine. What else do we want to implement it to? Last name, yeah? Last name. Yeah, city as well, right? Dun, dun, dun. What else? Female, I mean, not female, gender as well. Yeah. Ooh, I don't like this date of birth as well. Let's create another function. What should I call it? Remove. Actually, you know what? Yeah, just call it date. Get date. Yeah, get date. String date. Return string date. And let's use substring as well. So let's have a look. From index 0, so look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, to index 9. And I want, so I'm only interested the first 10 characters. So see if it works. See if it works. Fingers crossed. Does it work? Yeah, that's it. Right, how do I rearrange it to be the UK style?
Split join.
Yes, well done, Simi, well done. I've been waiting for that. Well done. Split, then reverse, right? Oh, actually, you know what? I want to split it. Get rid, yep. And then join it back, right? Exactly. See if it works. Is that right, guys? I don't know. You happy with that? I think it should be 10, shouldn't it? Let's call it 10. Yeah, 10, that's it. Ooh, oh, yeah, because I didn't do dots, that's why. Oh, yeah, because it shouldn't be, yeah. That's it. All right. Any questions, guys? So we learned something today with JavaScript functions, with JavaScript. So that's how we fetch data.